Exchange 4 gave us 4 couples in total. 2 reunions and 2 new couples. Personally, I have a lot of feelings about the finale, but I will get into that as we analyze, and also appreciate the couples we can 100% say are dating in real life even now, as of January 2026, and also talk about those who broke up. Hi folks, it's your girl Funnel Pop, bringing you the hottest and juiciest takes, personal opinions, and analysis of fun facts from your favorite dating shows. Sadly, I've been sick a lot recently. It's actually been 2 weeks of going in and out of hospitals, and my situation has been pretty bad, but I'm getting stronger. So please understand that every video I've made recently is my way of keeping my promise to you to keep reacting to these shows. I hope you enjoy it even if you don't always agree. And as always, remember to like, subscribe, hype up the video, and comment. Now, our first final couple is Jeene and Gian. When they first entered the house, Jian was so angry at Jeene that she even wore Wongu's Anderson Bell shirt to the X-room. But look at them now. Gian and Jeene are truly in love. They're even posting Lovestagram photos together on Instagram. At this point, she looks even more in love than he does. During the finale, my first real shock came when Jeene was waiting to see if she would show up or not. She was supposed to be there at 11 a.m., but at 10:59, Jeene was standing there alone and Gian still hadn't appeared. For a second, I genuinely thought she wasn't coming. Then she appeared on the opposite side of the road, and that moment gave me chills. The MC's reactions were exactly how I felt. It was pure tension and relief at the same time. By the end of the show, when we saw their updates, Jeene kissed Gian on the cheek and it was so cute. Gian even acted shy. But if you look at their latest updates, Gian is now the one doing most of the kissing. And honestly, that tells me Jeene has really been sticking to his word about changing and working on himself, and Gian must truly love this new version of him. Hyun also dropped a new update, sharing that she and Jeene finally went on their first real public date, after the show finished airing. You know, just the two of them out in the open like a normal couple. In her caption, she wrote that after the broadcast ended, she went on a date with Appa, had a drink for the first time in a while, and even mentioned how happy she was about it. Then Jeene popped up in the comments and casually added, "I also received a letter." Now here's where the tea gets interesting. On a previous post by them, a handwritten note was shared, and if you read it, it's clearly a fan message saying, "I'm cheering for you. You two look so good together. I'll keep your secret." So my guess. This might be the exact note Jeene was talking about. It looks like a fan recognized them on their first public date, chose not to expose them, and instead quietly handed him a letter of support. If that's the case, that means their first public date wasn't just free, it was blessed by a stranger who chose kindness over clout. And honestly, that makes the moment even sweeter. In Woojeon's appreciation message, he stated, "Hello, this is Kim Jeene. From the beginning of a sweltering summer, through a chilly fall, and into a cold winter, the time I spent felt short in some ways and long in others. But for me, it was a series of truly precious experiences. During the filming of Transit Love 4, I was able to look back on my emotions and choices, and it became a time where I learned a lot about myself. Thanks to everyone who watched even my imperfect sides and supported me with warm words, and those who gave me honest advice at times, I think I was able to grow even more. I will hold this experience in my heart for a long time, and from now on, I will live as a stronger and better person." Once again, thank you to the production team who created Transit Love 4, all the cast members including myself, and the viewers. P.S. From now on, I will love Gian not as Kim Jeene, but as Jeene. That P.S. note is especially sweet because it's basically him saying he'll love her as his true self, not his old, immature version. It's quietly romantic and shows real growth and intention. And side note, in their interview with Esquire Korea, Woojin explained that the reason he threw his first letter at Jian after writing it in front of her was because he was shy at that moment. Which honestly makes sense, considering how rude and unromantic that gesture looked on screen. It's really nice to see how their love has blossomed since then. Jian's message stated, "Hello, this is Hong Jian. The show that started in October has ended as we entered a new year. There were days when Wednesdays, the day the episodes aired, felt scary, and I didn't even want to open my eyes on Monday mornings, the start of the week. There were also weeks when I found myself hoping, for no real reason, that this one would pass with a little less pain. Although it was less than 4 months, to me it remains an unusually long and dense period of time. During that time, I want to sincerely thank the friends who quietly supported me by my side, the cast members who crossed that time together with me, and the production staff. I also want to express my gratitude to everyone who gave me honest advice and warm encouragement even when I showed sides where I am lacking. Just being able to have an experience that isn't easy to come by was already something I'm deeply thankful for. Wishing you lots of luck in the new year, and I hope you are always at peace and happy. P.S. Even if I try to fix my chopstick skills, they don't improve easily, haha, and it's also hard to cut back on ramen." Moving on to Yunyong. She genuinely impressed me in this episode. Her mindset stood out so clearly. She carried herself like someone who had already accepted every possible outcome. Whether Baekhyun chose her or not, she seemed secure in herself, and that level of emotional maturity is rare on shows like this. Now switching to Baekhyun. He had to take Hyun to her first stop, and honestly, I was disappointed in his attitude again, but I also understood him. During the ride, he kept missing turns, either he was too engrossed in their conversations and lost track of the road, or that he was reluctant to let her go while gathering his thoughts. At some point, he brought up babies and marriage, which surprised me. He said he had thought about marriage with her years ago, but not now. To me, that sounded like he had chosen his career over a serious relationship he could have had with her. It felt like he was drawing a boundary, just without knowing how to express it gently. Choosing Hyun would have meant facing the future seriously, and I don't think he was ready for that. When Hyun asked him if he had been serious about getting back together the day before, his hesitation said everything. When she finally asked if it was a joke, you could see the disappointment on her face, and when she cried, it felt like everything hit her all at once. That scene was painful to watch. I personally believe Hyun truly thought Baekhyun was going to choose her. And I also believe that if Baekhyun had chosen her, she would have chosen him too. That explains why she broke down the way she did. Now let's go back to the previous day, when she was talking with Jian about her final choice. She sounded genuinely excited. She said she had made up her mind, but there was one more question she wanted to ask because they didn't have enough time to talk. The question is, who did she not have enough time to talk to? When she had her ex-couple date with Baekhyun, the time was limited. She had to leave. But during her secret dates with Yusik, they talked everything through. There was nothing left unsaid. Even if editing cut some parts out, the truth is that date ended by choice, and not on a good note. When she returned to the house and spoke to Jian, she looked excited, and the only moment that day where she looked that excited was after her long hug with Baekhyun, when he told her to turn the wheel toward him. So honestly, the person she didn't have enough time to talk to was Baekhyun. That tells me her intention was to choose him. Even Baekhyun admitted that if he had moved forward, they would have ended up together. That alone says everything. But instead of choosing her, he shattered the hope he had just helped rebuild. And the way he ended things made it even harder to watch. Telling her again that maybe they could meet again in the next life didn't sound comforting. It sounded cruel. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, but after leading her on just the day before, this felt like the worst possible way to end things. The emotional whiplash was unreal. Hyun cried so hard, and it wasn't just quiet tears. It was the kind of crying that comes from having your expectations collapse all at once. Watching that, my heart genuinely ached for her. I sincerely hope she has changed her phone number as Hyun told her to, since it's a combination of both their birth dates. But hey, it's easy to tell people to move on, but their love was special, and you never really know what can happen. That said, strategically speaking, I think Hyun made the right choice by choosing Yunyong. If he hadn't, he would have received a lot of backlash for neglecting her at the finale after choosing her with his vote since day one. I want to believe he considered all of that, and that's why he made the decision he did. And honestly, it makes sense. It's also possible that Woo Jin questioning him about why he was changing his mind at the last minute had some influence on his final decision. So Hyun and Yunyong chose each other. Congratulations to both of them. By the end of the show, we saw them dating. They filmed their post-final choice shoot in Japan as a couple, exchanged birthday gifts, went on probably a double date with Woo Jin and Jian, and even had an amusement park date in Korea. On paper, everything lines up. But I can't help wondering if anything changed after Yunyong watched the ending and saw the depth of Hyun and Hyunji's relationship. Or after Hyun found out that she had dated her ex's best friend. Those are not small things. And this is strictly my personal opinion, but I don't believe they're still together. What the show gave us isn't enough for me. I need more than the edited narrative that they're dating in real life. Their Instagram activity doesn't convince me. They don't comment on each other's posts, and there's no real interaction. So I can't say for sure that they're still a real couple. I have no evidence to back it up. Some people have compared them to Hyun and Hyun from season 2, but I don't think that comparison works. We got plenty of real-world proof of Hyun and Hyun dating after the show. They were seen together in public, and were even described as a couple that dated privately but publicly for a long time before breakup rumors surfaced in 2025. That kind of evidence just isn't there here. A lot of fans argue that the reason Hyun and Yunyong aren't showing anything is because he's an actor, and actors tend to hide their relationships. But that logic feels ironic to me. He willingly went on a dating show, publicly chose a partner, and became a final couple on national television, even shot after show evidence of dating. At that point, the relationship was already public. Hiding it afterward doesn't really protect his career, especially when the show itself is built on the idea of real dating. So if they were still together, we would likely see something, maybe not a full reveal, not a photo shoot, but at least small, natural signs like we did with past couples or other couples this season. The complete absence of that is what makes this situation different, and why the comparison to Hyun and Hyun doesn't hold up for me. That's why, as of now, I'm convinced these two are no longer dating. The dating vibe simply isn't present based on what we can actually see. That said, the only other explanation I can think of is that this is some kind of prank. Maybe they're still dating and intentionally going quiet to surprise fans later, possibly around Valentine's Day. But until something changes or new evidence appears, I think it's safest to assume they've broken up based on the information we currently have. If any new updates come up, I'll make sure to update you all. But for now, this is where I stand. Whatever their situationship is, I genuinely wish them both the best. In Hyun's farewell message, he said, "Hello, this is Song Baekhyun. Starting in June, when I first felt the signs of summer, I experienced so many emotions over the past 7 months. It was truly a time filled with every possible feeling. I am still an imperfect person, but during that time I constantly reflected and looked back on myself, and little by little, I am growing into someone with healthier thoughts and a healthier mindset than before. Perhaps back then, when the hint of summer first appeared, my growth also quietly began alongside it. In this lifetime, I will continue to strive to live as a healthier and better person, someone who admits mistakes, reflects on them, and never stops growing. I will also keep in my heart all of the honest and sometimes sharp advice you give me as precious lessons. Thanks to the overwhelming love and interest from so many of you, I am spending a warmer and more comforting winter than ever before. To everyone who supports me, I sincerely hope that instead of cold days, your winter is filled with warm cups of chamomile tea, laughter, and happiness. I also hope that as you welcome the season of healing called spring, all worries fade away and your days are filled only with comfort and peace. Thank you sincerely. The flower language of chamomile is healing. For some reason, Yunyong's profile went private while I was making this video, but she later explained that she had something hectic to attend to and needed time offline. Now let's listen to her farewell statement. Hello, this is Choi Yunyong. I finished Transit Love carrying many lessons and reflections with me. Even while receiving more love than I deserve, it became a time for me to look deeply at my own shortcomings. Every word of support and encouragement became a great source of strength, and I will never forget them. I promise to repay that support by growing into a healthier and better version of myself. I sincerely thank everyone who was with me, and everyone who watched and supported the show. I wish you all a happy new year in 2026. Please continue to support them, even if they are not together in real life. I wish them both success in their future pursuits. And I'm really looking forward to seeing Beck in more dramas. Beck actually has some of the funniest posts. The video he recently shared on his story was taken during their stay in Japan, and it really shows a side of him we barely got to see on the show. He was edited in such a serious way during the season that seeing this goofy, unserious side now feels a little unexpected. Some of his posts come off a bit too clownish for people who only knew his on-screen version, so Beck, please reduce the chaos just a little. Ha. I'm honestly crying and laughing. Let us ease into this version of you, my guy. A balance between funny and handsome would be perfect. Thank you for showing your sincere love for Hyun on screen. Beck shared photos from his visit to Seattle for a while, posting fun moments with fans. His latest posts suggest he might be in Okinawa, Japan, if the photos are in real time and not from an older trip. He also shared some really great shots in the water, and also a clip of him water skiing. Beck is genuinely cool. Yunyong and Minkyong hang out together every week based on their Esquire interview confirmation. Minkyong even celebrated Yunyong's return to IG on her page saying, "My love is back." Their friendship is just so wholesome and cute. Meanwhile, Songyong and Beck are getting along well, and you can tell from how they interact on each other's posts online. I felt a little sad for Songyong on the show. His farewell scene with Hyun was heartbreaking. But it's nice to see him happy now and looking even more handsome. On the show, Songyong is someone I genuinely admire. His sense of humor is amazing. Still, it's clear that whatever happened in his past relationship with Hyun left deep scars. His lingering feelings for her make me wonder if things could have turned out differently if he had joined the show earlier, or if the way he talked about feeling liberated after their breakup had been framed differently during their preliminary meeting. Timing really changes everything. If he had joined earlier, he might have had enough time to change things, just like Woo Jin did. In his appreciation message, Songyong said, "Hello. At last, the final episode of Transit Love 4 has ended. Thank you so much for watching until the end. I know it wasn't easy, and I truly appreciate it. If anyone felt uncomfortable because of my words or actions, I sincerely apologize. I'd like to thank the production team and fellow cast members who took care of me in so many ways. And most of all, thank you to everyone who supported me while giving this 32-year-old man such cute nicknames and encouragement. Flu season is going around, so please make sure to get your flu shot." The next couple to reunite is Wongu and Jiian. This couple had been rumored since the beginning of the show, with talk of marriage already circulating, and honestly, their relationship seems to have grown even stronger since the show ended, especially based on their social media activities. Jiian recently celebrated her birthday, and Wongu went all out. He bought her flowers and a cake. They made a wish and blew out the candles together while celebrating with friends, and afterward, she shyly hugged him in front of everyone. What made the moment even sweeter is that fans noticed their birthdays fall on back-to-back days, January 22nd and January 23rd, which explains the caption 01/22/01/23 and a black heart emoji. It wasn't just a random number. It was their shared birthday moment. Honestly, that detail alone says a lot about where they are as a couple. And now there's even more. Wongu just shared a new post, and for his birthday gift, Jihyun gave him a white package. When he opened it, it turned out to be a black cap with "Be Nice 2026" written on it. Wongu showed off the gift with the brightest smile and wrote in his caption that he'll use it well. I'm assuming Jihyun gave it to him because it was posted with the same birthday cake and the same outfit from that day, in the same birthday collage. It honestly feels like a playful reminder to be a good boyfriend in 2026. I could be wrong, but that's my guess, and if that's the case, it's kind of adorable. And guess who popped up in the comments? Beck Hyun. He wrote, "Why does your smiling face look younger than my nephew's? My nephew is 1 year old, you know." The replies that followed were just as funny. Beck Hyun is genuinely hilarious. His comments are always so catchy and perfectly timed. Anyway, back to Wongu and Jiian. I'm not even going to lie, they look deeply in love. And it really feels like Wongu learned something on the show about not taking his woman for granted. They both released appreciation posts, but what really stood out to me was how Wongu structured his. The first slide included the entire cast, acknowledging the shared experience of the show. But the remaining slides focused only on him and Jihyun from their Esquire photo shoot. To me, that felt intentional. It looked like a clear shift from the show as a group experience to his relationship with Jihyun as something personal and ongoing. I could be reading into it, but that's how it came across to me. Wongu wrote, "Hello. I sincerely thank you for the immense interest you showed through Transit Love 4. I hesitated for a long time, wondering if it was right for someone who isn't a celebrity to write a message like this, but I felt it was only right to respond to the attention you gave me, so I'm carefully writing this now. I'm not very expressive and not a man of many words, so I ask for your understanding if this message feels a little lacking. Only after the show ended did I begin to slowly think about how to hold these moments in my heart. The times in front of the camera, and the emotions that remained afterward, were not easy, but they were dreamlike and meaningful moments I never imagined experiencing in my life. To everyone who watched my choices and emotions and supported me with both tough words and warm encouragement, I sincerely thank you. Because you looked at even my imperfect moments with sincerity, I was able to reflect and grow. I won't let this experience pass lightly. I will treasure it as a page in my life and continue walking forward at my own pace with a stronger heart. I would be truly grateful if you would also look kindly upon Wongu, the Korean medicine doctor, as I continue my journey. Thank you again to the production team, panelists, and all the cast members as well." Jihyun also shared her message. "Hello, this is Park Jihyun. Thanks to Transit Love, 2025 became one of the most special years of my life. I thought I would feel relieved once the show ended, but instead I feel sadness and emptiness. I guess I grew very attached during those 4 months. Because of all the love and support, I gained so much strength, and I was grateful to know my story could bring comfort to someone else. I will continue to reflect on myself, learn from my shortcomings, and grow so I can show you an even better version of myself. I will cherish each day and live my life loving fully and freely. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to everyone who loved Transit Love 4. Wishing you all a very happy new year." We all know that Hyong chose Jihyun on the show but left single, though he gained something just as meaningful: closure. He rebuilt his friendship with Yunyong and cleared up misunderstandings that had lasted for 6 years between them. Even though he didn't find love on the show, he found peace, and that matters too. Here is what Hyung said. "Hello, this is Lee Jae-hyung. First of all, I sincerely thank the production team who captured me on camera, and everyone who took interest in the program and watched it. I will never forget each and every person who remembered me and shared warm words with me. Through this experience, I was able to see myself through someone else's eyes for the first time. I realized I still have many shortcomings. I will take both the honest criticism and warm encouragement to heart and become a better person who gives positive energy to those around me. Once again, thank you to everyone from Transit Love 4 who gave me such special memories. Finally, we have the main characters of the show, Yusik, his ex Minkyong, and Hyun. One moment that truly confused me was Yusik's goodbye with Minkyong. At one point, it almost looked like he was trying really hard not to laugh, and I remember thinking, what is this guy doing? Whatever you do, hide that smirk. This is not the moment. But at the same time, I respected the fact that he stood his ground and didn't look back at Minkyong. And I sincerely hope Minkyong gives him that same energy back. I hope she stays 10 toes down and never dates Yusik again like she said. Not because he chose Hyun, but because of how he chose her. I'm sorry, but the way he did it was embarrassing. His expression was light, joyful, almost celebratory, like he had found the one. Fans have compared this to Dongjin and Dahi from Season 3, who got back together after the show, even though he didn't choose his ex at the finale, but the difference is huge. Dongjin looked worried and regretful after his final choice. Yusik looked liberated. He looked happy. He looked like he had already made peace with his decision. That's not the face of a man who plans to look back. This time, Yusik chose with his full chest. That's why I truly hope the rumors about him and Minkyong getting back together are false. For her own sanity and growth, I hope she sticks to her words and doesn't let him back into her life romantically. Now, what made things even more confusing was what happened after the final choice. During their first official outing in Japan, Yusik and Hyun wore the rings they made together, held hands, and looked like a real couple. He even placed his arm over her shoulder, and they looked comfortable, intimate, and happy. So naturally, you'd think they were truly in love. And honestly, that's something I kept forcing myself to believe since the show started. But if I'm being real, I never felt a spark between them. Not at the beginning, not in the middle, not at the end. And what sealed it for me was this: we never got a follow-up date for them in Seoul, unlike the other three couples. At first, I thought production might have cut it out to protect them from overly passionate viewers. But then netizens started saying they never dated at all, especially because their updates weren't shown at the end of episode 21. On top of that, almost every rumor about this show has turned out to be true. Early on, we heard that Hyun and Yusik dated for 3 months, broke up, and that he later got back together with Minkyong. If they really dated for 3 months, that means they likely broke up around the time the show started airing. Add to that the rumor of Hyun attending a 5-on-5 blind date, and it becomes pretty clear that things didn't work out. And honestly, that's such a shame. Was all the backlash really for nothing? You guys won't even date for real. I truly believe the person with the greatest loss on this show was Hyun. She went through emotional hell bringing 2 exes into that house. And while I'm thankful for it because it gave us a unique and entertaining season, it came at a heavy cost to her. Her new romance crumbled, and the man she truly loved, Beck, folded on TV. There were no follow-up videos of her and Yusik after Japan like there were for the other 3 couples. There's no physical or online evidence that they're still together. And that tells me everything. Whatever they had didn't last. She recently shared photos of herself traveling to different countries. She was even in LA while Beck was in Seattle. And now she's back in Korea, based on her Instagram story where she visited a hairstylist in Gangnam-gu and showed off her new look. And honestly, she looked stunning. Before the show ended, netizens accused her of quitting her flight attendant job of 10 years just to chase influencer fame, claiming that was why she brought 2 exes onto the show. But what we actually saw afterward was different. She posted herself in uniform, still working, and while she did share a caption saying, "I loved it, goodbye," that caption felt more like a farewell to a chapter than to the career itself. It came across as someone releasing a painful season with gratitude, not someone running away from her profession. That interpretation is also supported by the people around her. Hyung commented, "You're amazing. I'll call you Nuna from now on," showing playful admiration and respect. Woojin joked, "Please put me in first class," treating her as someone still actively working as a flight attendant. And Wongu simply wrote, "You worked so hard," to which she warmly replied, "Thank you, Gardengyu," using an Instagram nickname. That showed comfort and closeness. She's received a lot of hate, but also a lot of love, and it's nice to see she has a lot of support. Whatever changes she makes in her life going forward, I hope they're on her own terms, not because of pressure or rumors. I hope she meets a young CEO who owns an airline, falls in love with her, and puts a ring on her finger soon. Let's support her, guys. All of them, really. They tried their best to entertain us by putting themselves out there. Here are the appreciation posts from all three of them. Minkyong stated, "Hello, this is Kwok Minkyong. Thank you so much for all the support you've given me. As I watched myself on the show, I found myself reflecting a lot and taking time to look back at who I am, and before I knew it, it was already 2026. I've been waiting for this moment because I really wanted to share my feelings with you. I want to sincerely thank everyone who gave me so much love and encouragement. And I also want to thank those who pointed out my shortcomings honestly. Thanks to you, I was able to understand what I need to fix and refine in order to grow even more. I'll continue to work hard to show you a more diverse and improved version of myself, and I'll do my best to become a better Minhwa, who can return all the love I've received." Yusik said, "Hello, this is Joe Yusik. I sincerely thank all the viewers who love Transit Love 4. I would also like to express my gratitude to the producers, writers, panelists, and all of our members. The past 7 months have been an experience far greater than I deserve in my life. I will cherish these memories as something precious for a long time. I won't forget the interest and support you gave me, and I will continue to grow as a dancer and show you even more diverse sides of myself. Please take care not to catch a cold during the remaining winter, and I wish you a happy new year." A lot of supportive fans who still want these two to reunite noticed that the photos used in their appreciation posts were the ones taken at the same fountain in Japan where they had their date. Some believe this could be a soft hint that they're back together but can't confirm it yet. During the Esquire interview, Minkyong mentioned that her bloodshot eyes disappeared almost immediately after she returned home, which really shows how much stress the show had put her under. In that interview, she genuinely looked happy and at ease, and she seemed to have bonded well with Yusik for their photo shoot. Many viewers also noticed that Yusik kept looking in her direction throughout the interview. Several times, he appeared to have a look of regret on his face when Minkyong was answering questions, which made some people feel that his heart might be drifting back toward Minkyong, or that he now regrets the choices he made on the show. Did you guys also watch the interview? What are your thoughts on Yusik's expressions? Yusik also addressed the photos of him circulating online during the show, where he was seen with random women, explaining that they were fans who had spotted him when he went out. It's important to note that this interview was conducted around the time episode 16 was about to air, when Hyun was receiving a lot of backlash from viewers. So there's a strong possibility that, by this point, Yusik and Hyun were already feeling uncomfortable with the public response. Watching that interview, Hyunji's expressions almost made me cry. She looked emotionally exhausted. I do think she's much stronger now, especially since she received a lot of support after episode 16 aired. If the interview had been done later, we might have seen a brighter, happier version of her. As for my thoughts on whether Yusik was feeling a bit of regret during that interview, I think it's possible. Not necessarily regret about the choice he made, but about how he treated Minkyong while he was on the show. As for Minkyong's friendship with Hyun, I can't say for sure whether it still exists. They don't interact on each other's posts online. On the show, Hyun wasn't very considerate of Minkyong's feelings and seemed mainly focused on her own emotions. I wish she had taken the time to call Minkyong and show some empathy, but that didn't happen on screen. So personally, I doubt they'll be close in real life, though that's just my opinion, not a fact. They could be best friends for all I know. This is simply how it looks to me. Unlike last season, where we saw group photos from the cast that reflected genuine bonds after the show ended, this season ended without anything like that. And honestly, that alone quietly says a lot about the dynamics within this group. That's why Hyunji's statement matters so much. I wasn't able to get Hyunji's original message directly, but I did find it through a news site, and I want to share the core of what she expressed because it adds important context. After Transit Love 4 ended, Park Hyunji posted a long message on her personal social media. She said that it felt like she had just moved into the house yesterday with a nervous and excited heart, yet somehow a whole year had already passed. She described herself as someone who lived an ordinary life, who happened to meet this program by chance, and who received more love and comfort than she felt she deserved. At the same time, she admitted that she spent a lot of time blaming herself and struggling with the parts of herself she didn't like. She shared that last summer she met good people, cried a lot, laughed a lot, and experienced emotions that she believes will remain unforgettable memories for the rest of her life. She also thanked viewers for understanding her immature and imperfect sides and for staying with her until the very end, saying she is trying to grow into a healthier person who can give off positive energy moving forward. She ended her message by asking people to be more generous toward her unappealing sides, reminding everyone to take care in the cold weather, and wishing everyone a happy new year. This statement came after she received a wave of harsh and malicious comments, and yet she still chose to speak with composure and gratitude, which honestly says a lot about her emotional state at the time. Honestly, the structure of this show is cruel. Everyone who participated deserves applause, because this experience is not for the faint-hearted. One last thing that really stood out to me was the Instagram growth. When Minkyong opened her account, she had around 23,000 followers. 3 days later, she was already at 761,000 and still climbing. 7 days later, she's at 894,000 followers. That's one of the fastest growths I've ever seen from any dating reality show contestant. The last time I saw something like that was with Hae-sun from Singles Inferno Season 3. I'll leave everyone's Instagram links in the description box below, in case you haven't followed them yet and want to keep up with their updates. Let me know what you think about how things are unfolding with the cast so far. At the end of the day, this finale reminded me of something important: we only ever see fragments of people's lives. These weren't characters. They were real people making emotional decisions under pressure. And I truly hope all of them find peace, whether that's together or apart.